begin to work each and every day and live together each and every day together. And so a couple months ago, right around season, Christmas season, we were off for a few days together. And by about day 2 or 3, she looked at me and she said, "Is this how it's going to be when you retire?" And I said, "Yes, isn't it going to be exciting?" And she just kind of, that look that our wives give us? Yeah, that was it. But if you're our guest today, we appreciate you coming. But I got to give you some heads up about what's about to happen. We're going to be talking about some things that relate to you, okay? But it can be a little bit uncomfortable because in the sense of being kind of part of a meeting that is a group of other people kind of, being talked to. They're the ones being talked to, and you're kind of in that meeting. You're kind of going, I'm not sure exactly what he's saying, what he's talking about. At least not yet, maybe. But the great thing is that you'll get a glimpse to see behind the curtain a little bit more about who we are. And so if you're looking for a place, this will kind of give you an idea of what that is and what we strive to be. And so we're so glad that you're here for this week. Come back next week, and you'll hear more of a message that you can kind of go, hey, that sounds more familiar to me. But each year we start off with a challenge or a renewal of challenges that kind of remind us of the task that is at hand and how important it is for us to be intentional about every single thing that we do here. And so it's easy for an organization, a business, a company, even a church to become comfortable, right? And so things seem to be going well, so you kick back and you just kind of watch things flow. And the problem is that doesn't work. It doesn't work, in life. It doesn't work in business. It definitely doesn't work within the church. We sometimes need to be reminded that what we do isn't about just coming together, seeing each other, and hey, how are you? And singing a few songs and hearing a kind of a longer spiritual, almost TED Talk, type thing, and leaving and hoping we see you again next week. What we do is so much bigger than that. That a better quality of life is available, and even more importantly, that eternity weighs in the balance, for people. That our responsibility, that we have is leading people, towards Christ, so they can have that personal relationship, with Him and discover so much more. And that there's nothing more important than that. Would you agree with that? That there's nothing more important than that. And when we look at Jesus' ministry, he sets into motion this plan of getting the good news out. That each and every person can have a personal relationship with God. And so he refers to it as, when you pray, our Heavenly Father. In other words, that there could be this personal relationship of like a child and a good father. And he tells the guys, he goes, look, there's this idea, there's this concept, there's this plan, if you will, that there will be a time when people will gather together. And they'll gather together in my name. And they're going to find out that they're going to be difference makers within the world. And so it's going to be called the church, or as Jesus put it, ecclesia, which was just simply a gathering of people. And he tells Peter, you might remember this, you've been in church, he tells Peter, look, he goes, hell, will not overcome it. He goes, we're going to build this thing, and hell's not going to be overcome it. Which the guys probably looked at each other and kind of like, I'm not sure what he means, because they really didn't have an idea. They didn't have a concept of that. And so, but they thought, hey, it sounds pretty important, and it sounds really cool, so we're in. And so then, after Jesus' death, burial, and resurrection, he gives these guys some departing instructions. And he tells them, he goes, look, and he tells them, there wasn't just the disciples and some other people that were there. And he goes, look, before I leave, I'm going to give you some instructions, and this is extremely important. And here's what he said for us to do. Matthew chapter 28, verse 18 and 20. It'll be up on the screen here, and if you have your Bibles, many of you already know this verse. He said, then Jesus came and he said to them, all authority in heaven and earth has been given to me. That one statement right there, we're going to come back and visit that again. That one statement right there is so powerful. So we're going to take a look at that at another time. But here's where we're going, verse number 19. He says, therefore go. He's giving us instructions. Therefore go and make what? disciples. This is what I want you to do. I want you to go make disciples. Isn't that what we are, Jesus? Exactly. And do what? Because make disciples of all nations. And these guys are thinking small. They're thinking, everything that they know is about 30 miles, away from them. That was kind of their world. And Jesus saying, it's further than that. It's beyond what you can even imagine right now. And he tells them, he goes, look, here's what I want you to do. I want you to baptize in the name of the Father, the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. And I want you to teach them. I want you to teach them to obey everything I've commanded you. All the things we've done, all the things that you've seen, I want you to share that with people so it can be shared with more people and shared with more people. And then he tells them this. He goes, and surely I am with you. I'm going to be with you always to the very end of the age. And then Jesus leaves. To which you kind of go, what do you mean with you? You're leaving. He goes, yeah, it's bigger than that. That was the plan. Guys, I want you to go make disciples. I want you to go and repeat yourself, to duplicate yourself, to replace yourself. And this is how we say it around here. This is how we say our purpose statement, if you will. This is our go and make disciples statement. Here's our statement here. You'll see it in our bulletins. It says, leading people into a growing relationship with Jesus to become fully devoted followers of Christ. Everything that we do, all the things that we do hinge upon this one thing. This is our go-to, okay, we want to do this activity, we want to do these things or whatever. All right, so leading people into a growing relationship with Jesus to help them to become fully devoted followers of Christ. Sure. You see, our goal for us and you is this, for you to grow in your relationship with Jesus, to connect in a biblical community, to serve in a God-given given ministry, and then to share the message of Jesus. That you take this growing in your relationship with Jesus is so important. And how do we do that? Part of that is connecting with people and opening up God's Word and diving into it and discovering, what does this look like? What did Jesus do? How did he do things? What did he say? How did he say things? How do I treat people? How does it, how do I do this? And so we study what Jesus did. And then we do what Jesus did. We study what the disciples did. And we do what the disciples did. And then we serve in your God-given ministry, whatever it is that God has gifted you. We leverage those gifts. We leverage those talents. We leverage your personality. We leverage all the things that are unique and special about you. You leverage that. And you use it. You use it to advance the kingdom of God. You use it to make more disciples. Because there are people that you can relate to that I can't relate to. There are people that, you're artistic. And so you can relate more to artistic people. There's some of you that are, Democrats that can relate to Democrats. Some of you Republicans can relate to Republicans, conservative, liberal, and it goes on and on. But it's simply this. He goes, look, I want you to follow Jesus' example of being selfless, not selfish. You see, I lean towards selfish. Jesus said, put others first. I put myself first a lot of times. And he goes, no. I want you to get what I did, and I want you to duplicate that. And so when we do that, it provides us the opportunity to share Jesus. That last part, to be able to, as we begin to grow and we begin to mature and we get excited about what Christ has done for us, and we tell other people, right? I mean, you discover something new, right? You discover something, and it makes your life better. I mean, whether it's new soap, new shampoo, new car, new whatever it is, I mean, you can't help but tell others. And that's what he's wanting us to do, is to share it with others. So here's the question for us as Christ followers. What is the most efficient, effective way Christians can impact their community, influence other people, not getting something from them, but getting something for them, like Jesus did? I mean, who did things for others. How do we do that within our community? What do we do there? And here's what I believe, and we've said this over and over again. If you've been around, you've heard this. We believe that following Jesus will make your life better, and will make you better at life. That following Jesus will make my life, your life, better, and it makes me better at life. Who wouldn't want to do that, right? We're not trying to earn our way into heaven. We're not trying to, earn God's good graces. As Christians, we believe that's already been done. We believe that being a Christian is a response to what Christ has done for us. That it's God's grace that He's given us in mercy. So, our agenda is this. Following Jesus makes my life better. It makes me better at life. It makes me a better husband. It makes me, make you a better wife. It makes you a better student. Makes you a better teenager. Makes you a better employee. Makes you whatever. You fill in the blank. That following Jesus makes my life better. And it makes me better at life. Here's the thing. I hope that all of us who call ourselves Christ followers wants this for everyone. So the question is, what are we willing to do to make that happen? What are we as Christ followers willing to do to share that good news, to be able to reach out and to bring people, to discover this very thing, that following Jesus will make your life better, make you better at life. The Apostle Paul, he went to great extremes. As a matter of fact, here's what he said in 1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 22 and 23. Here's what Paul said. He goes, I have become all things to all people, so that, for what reason? So that by all possible means, I might save some. He goes, look, I go to great extremes. I try to find common ground. I try to find something. I try to figure out how is it that I can share Jesus with this people, with this group of people, with this person, even though they're maybe nothing like me. And he goes on. Why does he do this? He goes, I do this for the sake of the gospel. In other words, this good news of what Christ did, that he was dead and he rose again. He was dead and he rose again. He paid the sins for all of us. And he said that I may share in its blessings. If we want to make a difference corporately, we need to be intentional in how we do that. It will take every single one of us to make this happen. And here's where I would like to kind of put our focus today. Excuse me for a second. Here's what we want to focus on today. We want our guests to know that we know they are here and we're happy about it. Let me say that again. We want our guests to know that we know that they are here and we are happy about it. That we light up when we see them, that we see somebody new, somebody coming in to visit, somebody, a guest or whatever, and that as Rich Christians, people of Rich Crest, we sit there, we're excited about it. Hey, how's it going? We're so glad to see you. When my kids, as they grew up and they were teenagers and stuff, and they would, come in the house because teenagers, you hardly see them anymore. They're in their bedrooms or they're gone somewhere. And so, they would show back up and I would go, hey, Jeremiah's here, yay! And I'd just go, woohoo! I'd yay, Cassie's here, woohoo! And they'd roll their eye, all day, But I think there was something inside of them that kind of went, he's kind of glad to see me. What about that for us? That our mandate here at Ridgecrest is this, that we always assume there are visitors in the room. That we always assume that there are visitors in the room. And we act appropriately. And what does that look like? Well, here's the thing. Think about your first time here. Or going someplace different. Some of you, we've got several guests that usually first year we get an influx of guests, and we're so glad that you're here. And we get that it can be stressful. Okay, you're in a new place. It's strange. Depending upon what your background is and everything, you come up here and you kind of go, that music. It's not piano and an organ. I grew up to piano and an organ. And those guys are kind of loud. And I'm not sure if I recognize the songs that are up on the screen. That's kind of different. I'm trying to think if I like it. I think I like it. I'm starting to like it, but it's different. We get that. And you don't know the people around you typically, unless somebody invited you. We understand that it can be stressful. It can be uncomfortable. It can be awkward. And so we want to help you with that. So here's three things we're going to look at. And we'll look at this real quickly. Three things. Who are you at Ridgecrest? This is directed to you, again, guest, take a look behind the curtain. This is where we're going. What do you see? What do you hear? And what do you experience? What do you see? What do you hear? And what do you experience? We'll do the acronym SHE. Was that stuff? She, good. Just if you're still awake, yeah. You're going to hear that again a little bit later on and stuff. So she, exactly. That just helps you to remember it. You know, what do you see? What do you hear? What do you experience? You know, do our facilities? Here's the thing. Do our facilities look like we're expecting guests? I mean, when I was growing up, my mom, she's a clean fanatic. I mean, she was a clean freak. And so I dreaded when we had company because if my aunts or anybody else was coming over, it was a massive cleaning of the house. I mean, it was already clean. But this was like, and I never know, you don't even still know what this word means. Spick and span. It's got to be spick and span. I don't know what spick and span is, but Mama sure did. You know, it's got to be spick and span. You know, and so, you know, okay. And so we would be cleaning, we'd be doing all these kind of things. And I'd get aggravated, and I'd say things like, well, why do we have to clean it all up when they get here? They're just going to mess it all up. And then we got to clean it all up again. Why don't we just kind of leave it like it is, you know? And so Mom wasn't having that. It had to be as clean as possible because she was expecting company, and she wanted it to look good. She wanted, you know, that place to be inviting. And so here's the thing. It's whose responsibility is that? Whose responsibility that this place, you know, looks its best? I mean, is it our custodian? Is it the groundskeeper that, you know, works, you know, during summer to keep the grass clean? Yeah, they go ahead and scrub our grass. We're pretty thorough there. You know, our grass cut and that kind of stuff. Is that it? You know, is it their responsibilities? Or is the responsibility yours and mine? Is it up to us to make this place look as great as possible? You see, people who drive by this place and go, man, that looks great. You know, they're looking, they're evaluating. I know we don't have a big fancy building. I get that. We don't have a fancy paved parking lot, you know, but that's okay. That's okay because, you know, what we have, we want to be sure that it's well kept. And so, you know, we should always be expecting guests. So what does that look like? What does that look like inside and outside? Well, I tell our staff many times that I say, look, when we have our staff meetings, I say, walk of excellence, walk of excellence, walk of excellence. Walk of excellence simply meaning whatever your area that you're in charge of, that you take a look at it. How does it look? What does it look like to guests that come in? And so, you know, every single Sunday morning I come into this building and I get here before anybody else does, and I'm turning on everything, getting everything ready, and I'm making sure all those chairs are in their straight row, checking through things, and occasionally we get bugs. I know that's crazy. We get dead bugs, and so, you know, they died overnight, came in here and decided they wanted to die in the church, because I don't know what it is. And so, you know, I'm sweeping up bugs, and because I want it to be, inviting, to you. So, but here's the thing. It's all of our responsibility. You know, what does it look like to our guests on Sunday mornings, our main buildings, and all these things? And so, if you're in a restroom and you're from Ridgecrest and you're in the restroom and you see water on the counter and you see paper towels on the floor or whatever, and you go, look what somebody did. I wonder who's going to clean that up. Here's what you want you to look in the mirror and go, how about you? How about you wipe down that counter real quick? How about you reach down and pick that up real quick? Because we want it to look good for our guests, for people that come in. You go, well, there's not that. Who's going to do that? How about you? How about you go, well, I'll do that. I'll take care of that. I'll take care of that spill, that empty cups, those empty whatevers, that are in there. And so, it's taking responsibility for us, each and every one of us, to do something to make this place look great. Here's the thing. People don't typically notice when things are clean and looking good, right? We notice it when it's not, right? So what about the outside of our facility? Same thing. I don't know if you noticed, but since the 2015, tornado, the front part of our building here has been pretty bland. I mean, we've got empty flower beds and everything, weird stuff in there and all that kind of stuff. And so our hope is, and the plan is to change that this spring. I'm confident that the resources will come in and we're going to make that thing look nice and presentable. When people are walking up and say, hey, that looks pretty good. You know, it's going to take some time. It's going to take some finances. It's going to take some resources. Some of you are going to go, hey, can you help us out here? But I'm confident God's going to provide that. But our outside, let me tell you something, our outside and inside this place has come a long way in 15 years. You think about it, as those of you who have been around a long time, you take a look, we have 2 doors on each side right over here. This main part, when we had 2 doors over here, everything was gray. We had gray plastic seats, gray everything, you know, the doors were gray, everything was gray. We paint everything, and you know what the color that's in now is? Gray. Man, what we missed. Actually, I think we set the trend. We had the trend. Some people come in and go, I like gray. Let's paint our place gray. Now we're setting a new trend. You know, people go, oh, I think I like those colors. But here's the thing. It's taking a look around at our outside of our facility. It's looking at things that aren't in order. You know, you walk around, there's trash. Pick up some trash. If that, you know, the dumpster door out there, I had to get to check it this morning and stuff, you know, that dumpster, let's shut that dumpster door. If we got toys, you know, I don't know if you know this, but the wind blows like crazy through here. You know, I mean, the strongest winds ever recorded, right outside these doors. You know, on planet Earth, period. Google it. It's true. And so, right out here, we got all kinds of toys and stuff. They're supposed to be right out there. They're over there, they're over there, they're over there. I mean, it's just, man, we as a group of people just taking care of all these things. And so, what do we want people to see as they pass by? What does that communicate to that person that's going by and says, you know, I'm looking for a place. You know, that place looks nice, that looks well kept. And that's our plan. That's been our desire, and we've worked hard at that. So, next thing. Do guests see themselves? Do guests, you know, what do they see? You know, do guests see themselves? In other words, you know, we're looking for our people, right? Our age group, our, you know, people that are kind of like us, people that we may potentially connect with. And we have a great mixture of folks here. We have younger, we have older, we have young kids, we have older kids. You know, we now, before we get used to have retired people. You know, in the last few years, we've gotten some retired people. We had to grow our own, but we're getting there. And so, you know, that we've become more intentional in this area of greeting, okay? And welcoming people as they come in. I loved it. I came in through the side door and everything, and I see some of our folks introducing themselves to some of you guys, and that's awesome. That's what we want them to do. We want you to feel comfortable and welcome. But we also need to work on it as soon as they come in these doors, as soon as they come in. At Christmas, I shot some phone calls to some people and said, hey, we got a big crowd coming Christmas. I need some help, you know, greeting people right there. But that needs to be the other 51 days of the year, or 51 Sundays of the year. 51 days, okay. Yeah, 51 Sundays of the year that we do that exact same thing, that we're intentional in that. Because, you see, we've got children's classes for what? Children. We have youth classes for youth. We have adult classes for adults. Exactly. You get it. And so we're connecting people, you know. And so, like I said, we've got retired people now and semi-retired people, kind of, you know. And so we've got something happening for you. It's coming up, you know, a little bit later. We'll talk about it at another time. So, second thing. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you hear? Let me ask you, what's the word on the streets about Ridgecrest? What are people saying? You know, when they drive by, or did you say, hey, I go to Ridgecrest, what do they say to them? What is it? Are people talking about us? You know, do we have a good reputation within the community? You know, if so, you know, are people talking about us in a good way? Or is it not in a good way? You know, are people saying, you know, man, you gotta go there. I mean, that's the place. You know, one of the questions I ask over and over again is, if we ever cease to be on this corner, Ridgecrest gone, there's no church here, you know, it's just a building, that's all this is, you know, and a whole bunch of, you know, y'all, with a big hill-looking thing slide down when it snows. You know, if we cease to exist, would the community miss us? Would the community miss us? You see, things that we're doing right now to impact our community. Right now, we support the Tri-City Hope Center. We partner with them, with Woodland Hills. Because we believe the church is bigger than Ridgecrest, that the church is all of God's people. And so we partner with them, you know, at the Hope Center to provide food and to provide, you know, clothing, and to sometimes to be able to help in other ways. We have Bread of Life ministry that helps to get meals to people who've had surgeries and to take care of some of our funeral meals. We have a community events. This is one of our star things. You know, we have community events. We've got Freedom Celebration, 25 years, where we bring the community in. We invite the community to be here on property, to celebrate the freedom that God gave us. We believe that. You know, that we live in this amazing country because God has given us that. You know, we've got Vacation Bible School, we've got Hollow Word, we've got the Princess Tea, and this year we did Christmas tree lighting. And we've got some new plans, you know, for a Christmas tree lighting thing for next year as this kind of builds. But we had a great turnout for that. We have, you know, obviously, like I said, we got preschools, we've got preschool, we've got children, we've got youth, we've got men, we've got women's ministry. Food baskets that come from the school, comes from leadership that comes from Ridgecrest. You know, we've got Thanksgiving dinner that we do here on Thanksgivings, you know, so the community can come here, and we've got people that say, man, we come here every year. You know, we've got nursing home visits where we pass out gifts around Christmas. There's help that we've done over and over again with communities within the family, or within families within the community. Domestic mission trips to Texas. We support 84 orphans. If you look back there on this wall, you'll see a sign, our heart-shaped deal back there. Those are 84 orphans that are supported in Malawi, Africa, where we go to every year. We're connected to them, plugged into them, and that ministry there. But here's the thing. Here's what's so cool about that. It's not 84 of just you guys. It is other people within the community that give to that don't even go to church yet. They believe in that mission so much that they said, we want to be part of that. Yeah, we don't go to church, but we believe in that. We believe in what you're doing. We want to be part of it. And so they help support that. You know, right now, the school down here at Bridge Creek has taken on and partnering with us in building the next classrooms of 7th to 8th grade for the school in Malawi. We've had the opportunity to build 1 through 6, and so the school said, we want to do that with you. And so they've been so excited about it, you know, and so it's been in front of them, you know, doing this. And so we've been making this impact, you know, within the community, and obviously mission trips to Malawi, Africa, where people help with that. But here's the thing. You are the reputation in our community. You're Ridgecrest. It's not our building. It's not our facility. It's not all of those things. It's you, the people. You're the ambassadors of our church. If people, you know, if people know where you go to church and everything, and they find out that you go here, what do they say? Oh, I go to Ridgecrest. You go to church? You know, I go to Ridgecrest. You go there? You know, what? Or, man, you go there? I want to go there. Does that matter? Absolutely. It does matter. You know, it's a reflection. You're a reflection of Christ, as Christ followers, you know, of fellow believers that are here. You know, if somebody in your family does something, kind of messes up something, does it impact the whole family? Absolutely. If somebody in the family does something wonderful and great, does it, you know, impact the family? Absolutely. And so it's understanding that we have influence. And so what do I do with that influence that I have? How do I influence people in the positive direction, you know, here at the church? And so, you know, it's one of those things of, are we a powerhouse within the community here at Bridge Creek? And so that's the thing. Third question. So what do we see? What do we hear? And then second question. What do we see? What do we hear? Here it is. I'm all messed up here. Here we go. What do you hear? Is our music and our messages engaging? Or our music and our messages engaging? I'm sorry. Third question is, what do you experience? I need to actually study my own message. I'm sitting here looking at my notes going, third question, what do they experience? Okay? That'll help you to remember it, right? The guy that's doing it can't even remember. Third question, what do they experience? All right? What do they experience? And this is actually kind of embarrassing because what do you hear in our music and in our messages? Yeah. I mean, is our music engaging? Are our messages engaging? I think we have some of the most amazing talent that's up here on this stage each and every week. Each week, Charlton encourages, you to participate in this form of worship, and we know that looks differently. We know it looks differently for different people. Some of you are expressive, more expressive than others. And I love the challenge that he's put before you to kind of explore that, to see, maybe to kind of bring you out of that comfort level. There was a gentleman named Ben Reed. Ben Reed said that, he said, when he was in his late 20s, getting ready to go into 30s, he said, I started attending church for the first time. I never really attended church. A guy invited me, and I was there. And he said, I watched the music. I'd always loved music. He goes, I'm listening to the music, and I'm watching people, and they're like praising God. They feel comfortable to raise their hands, and they're just all into it. And he said there was something stirred within me. And he said, I began to explore, this idea of being a Christian. He accepted Christ. Ben would later on become a pastor. He pastored as an associate pastor there at the church that he was saved in. He began to pastor a church here within our community. He's now pastoring the church in Texas. And so this idea of well, it's just music. No, it's so much more than that. Is it engaging? Our desire and our plan is always working, that it's engaging. Are the messages engaging? I'm just a simple guy, okay? And obviously you can tell as an example, I don't always get it right. But I try my best to communicate in simple ways because I'm simple. And my desire every single Sunday is to challenge us and give us important, not just information to be information, but information to be able to use to make a difference within our lives and in the lives of other people. If you're looking for deep theological words and inferences, you're probably not going to get that here on a Sunday morning. We have a class that goes a whole lot deeper and gives you a whole lot more information than that on Sunday mornings. But as far as going deep, I think it's how you look at it. You see, for me, deep is, I don't think it gets any deeper than how do I love as Jesus commanded us to love. How do I love others as Jesus commanded us to love? How do I do that? How do I do that every single day of my life? How do I do that to influence others that they want to know who this Jesus is? What do I do in my life to do that? I don't think it gets any deeper than that. What does that look like for me? We say this around here. What does love require of me? In that situation, in this situation, whatever that is, what does love require of me? Sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes it's, grace. Sometimes it's forgiveness. Sometimes it's whatever that is. But it's simply asking that question, what does love require of me? How do I act and show the love of Jesus in my relationships, in the people I work with, go to school with, come in contact with, see at Walmart, Carlitos, the convenience store, whatever that is. And so here's the thing. Sharing the love and good news with people who walk through those doors, that may not believe like us, may not look like us, may not think like us, and may not act like us. But they will discover they are more like us than they think. They'll discover that we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. We've really got a lot of things in common. That we make some of the same, mistakes that you make. That we're trying to figure out and navigate this life just as you are, And so it's figuring out, how do we do that? How do we make that happen? And so like I said, we believe that following Jesus makes life better and makes us better at life. So, what do they experience? What are people that come through that door? What do they experience? People are looking for authentic, genuine, real, and believable. So the question is, do they see that in us? And I got to tell you, I got to be honest with you. I've never been in a more real and authentic place in my life. I really have. There are things that you have shared, and I've heard you share with others, and I've heard you share with me. It wasn't in the office and shut the door, and I don't want anybody to hear this. I mean, you've been pretty much an open book in so many areas of your life. And in doing so, you've shown your vulnerability, you've shown the real you, and you've been real, and you've been authentic, and you've said, I've messed up. I've made some poor decisions, I've done whatever, and now I want to fix it. And then you don't just stay there. You see other people that have made those same things, those same, mistakes, those same, bad decisions, those same things. And you come alongside and go, look, I know where you're at. I know what you're feeling. I get it. I've been there. And so that's unique within itself. I grew up in a church that, everybody was perfect. I'm perfect, I'm fine, I'm great, and walk up and go, oh, boy, that's a lot of pressure. If the pastor didn't give you a message that you felt horrible when you left, then it wasn't a good message. You just felt like, oh man, I'm just a rotten, terrible person. Oh my gosh. And so, that's not, we don't see Jesus doing that. You're not going to see that here. If you're convicted, it's the Holy Spirit doing it. Okay? And so what, the question is, the people who walk through those doors, they're looking for something. When they walk through these doors, they're looking for something. They're looking for a connection. They're looking for people maybe in the same seasons of their life. They're trying to navigate life just like you and I are. And they're looking for direction. They're looking for understanding, looking for insight. They're looking for wisdom and knowledge and life experiences. And it's here. You have it. So many of you have it. They're looking for someone to talk to that they can trust, someone who will not judge or condemn them, that has empathy and compassion. And if as Christians we could just get this part right, what would that look like? If we became intentional in this area and how it impact others. So what if we took the time? What if we took the time to get to know as much as we could about the people that come in, that we have, the intention that we make the difference. We can make a difference in the lives of each and every person. So, it's each and every one of us as rich Christians. Responsibility. It's our responsibility, and I challenge you, I encourage you to stretch out of that comfort zone, to make a commitment, to make these things happen. You see, some of you are great parents, some of you have parenting, your kids are grown, and you've got life experiences you can share, with others. Some of you have lost people that come in through this door sometimes are hurting, they're struggling, and they're looking for some answers. And many of you have some of those answers for them in their life. To be able to know that I'm not the only one that feels that way. I'm not the only one that has experienced that and is thinking what I'm thinking. And so it's making that commitment as a church that we move from this side of the room over to this side of the room, and this side of the room over to this side of the room. That you walk across the room at times to be able to engage and connect with people. That it's not like, hey, this is my section here. This is where I stay. I know my peeps. I got this is our folks over here. Well, I'm kitchen side. I'm nursery side. Well, I'm in the middle sometimes. And so it's stretching out those boundaries. It's getting to know people. It saddens me sometimes when there's been people that have been here. Some people have been here for a year. And I ask them, I start talking about, so. And someone that's been here for a long time goes, who's that? Who's that? It's our responsibility, each and every one of us, to do this. What do you see? What do you hear? What do you experience? The she. And so, something we should never forget is this, that we are the church, not because we're Baptists